The Weekend in Jacksonville with Dan Hicken is presented by Millennium Physician Group, your connection to a healthier life.
What's up, Jacksonville? It's the media mogul Dan Hicken, ready to give you all things Jacksonville sports heading into the weekend. As always, let's begin with our Jacksonville Jaguars. The countdown is on, less than 2 weeks away to training camp. Lots of things happening off the field that you probably don't know about, but what you did see, and what was refreshing to see, quite frankly, was Trevor Lawrence with his receivers working out at Clemson. Look, a lot of quarterbacks do that. Tom Brady's infamous for doing it, right? He brings guys up to Montana. He had workouts at the high schools in Tampa when they weren't supposed to a year ago. But that's Tom Brady, okay? We haven't had a guy like that around here. We might have a guy go across the river and throw up Bishop Kenny High School. You know, we might do that. But Trevor's got guys up at Clemson, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones Jr. working out, having fun, jumping into the lake. It's great video. It's great stuff. And I think it's to be applauded. I think it's excellent. The other thing I want to talk about was, and this is no surprise, it almost like they tried to make news out of it, but I think all the guys who get franchised, they franchise you with the idea that you're going to be franchised. Now, there's another time frame where if you get to this certain date, which was yesterday, and you don't have a deal, then you will be playing under the franchise tag. Well, so it wasn't like there was an announcement, but a lot of the national guys said, well, the Jaguars won't be working out a long-term deal with Cam Robinson. No kidding, right? I mean, we all knew that. Cam Robinson is here. It's a win-win. He's franchised. It's a win for him. He's making $14 million, okay? More than he's ever made in his life. If he plays well, he'll go somewhere else and start on the offensive line next year. If he doesn't play well, he's gonna be scrambling for a contract someplace else. Pretty sure that someplace else ain't going to be here. And I'll tell you why, because they drafted a guy in the second round out of Stanford, Walker Little, who's a big, giant guy who they expect to be their tackle. But they didn't want him to be a rookie tackle this year with a rookie quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. So it's a smart move by the Jags. I think they played it right. And I think Cam Robinson should have a good frame of mind heading into training camp because there's a lot at stake for him as well. All right. What about SEC Media Days coming up? Gator football, right? Ventrell Miller, Zachary Carter are the two guys who will be making the trip with Dan Mullen. That's a mistake. Emory Jones should be going, but whatever. Coach's decision. Dan Mullen choosing to take two defensive guys. They got a lot to talk about. Worst defense in Gator history last year. Gave up more than 30 points a game. And they got NFL guys. Zachary Carter's going to play in the NFL. Ventrell Miller's going to play in the NFL. Well, Kaiir Elam's going to be a first-round pick in the NFL. They were all on the defense last year. They better be better this year if Florida wants to have success. And they will be. I think they will be, and I think that's a big deal. Also, Jacob Copeland gets the number one jersey, which is interesting, right? Because the number one jersey is supposed to mean something in Florida, at least under Dan Mullen. I know Kadarius Toney had number one, so we'll see what that means going forward. But for now, that has happened. And by the way, Carter goes to number 6 as well. What about FSU? Mike Norvell has turned the corner in recruiting. I don't know if the results will be on the field. I think patience is going to be a big part of what FSU does. Their ACC Media Days, by the way, they're taking both their quarterbacks, which is kind of cool. I like that. That way, Mackenzie Milton, the former UCF kid, transferred to FSU, will have a chance to talk, as will Jordan Travis. So I think that's cool. And I think for FSU this year, I think what they got to do is get to a bowl. That's what I think, because they were terrible last year. 3-6, and they only won 3 because they kicked out Clemson and brought in Duke. Otherwise, they would have been 2-7. They were not good. I mean, they were bad, a bad football team. And somehow they did engineer an upset of North Carolina. So I think this year, you get 6-7 wins, you get to a bowl, and you knock off somebody that maybe you're not supposed to. And I think if you can do that, then the momentum continues to build for Mike Norvell. This was not a fix it overnight. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care, well, he's a good coach. If he's a good coach, he'll win now. Not when you've fallen that far into the abyss. So keep an eye out for FSU football. I think it's going to be an interesting journey for them coming up this year. And look, they got nowhere else to turn. Mike Norvell's going to be there if the roof caves in and they go 4-8. Mike Norvell's going to be back next year. And FSU fans can scream all they want, but they are in too deep financially right now to even consider making a change. The Olympics are coming up soon, and we've talked about some of the local guys and girls. Garrett Scantling, wish him well in the decathlon. Ryan Murphy, who's the subject of one of our podcasts, our Hometown Heroes podcast, that you can check out, so that's pretty cool. Caleb Dressel as well. So a lot of good stuff happening in the summer games, and they'll get started soon, and look forward to that over there in Tokyo. All right, that's all we got today, folks. Appreciate you hanging out with us, talking some sports. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the weekend. It's always a hot time of the year here in Jacksonville, FLA. Have a great weekend.